Okay, so I have the honor and privilege today to meet with Vonda Hopkins, one of our graduates, and her story is just amazing and so inspiring. Vonda, I welcome you and thank you so much for agreeing to tell us about your experience and inspire future generations of students as well. So, I have a couple of questions that I'm just going to ask you. The first one is, can you briefly describe what you do now for career, business, or personal achievements?
So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity just to share my story and also to encourage others. And so currently right now, I just launched a nonprofit organization called Watchmen of the Outpouring. And within that organization, what we do is we feed the homeless and then we also train intercessors. So people that are in ministry, we teach them how to pray and we also teach them how to go out into the community and pray for their communities and also to feed and to give back. And so that's my little baby right now that I'm working on. And I was also able to launch that ministry because I was a part of Lakewood University. From a lot of the classes that I was taking, I was able to build that business out. And so I'm excited for that right now. I also am substitute teacher. So I felt the need to go into the schoolhouse and also give back to our youth. So that's a way where I can run my business and then also be able to be in the schoolhouse part-time. It gives me that flexibility. So that's something new and exciting that I'm doing now.
Thank you so much for that, Vonda. That's amazing. I can see you give back in many, many ways, not only just your community, but also in your church and in the body of Christ itself. Can you tell me about your programs that you took here at Lakewood University?
So that's a great question. So I had the opportunity to be able to take 5 different classes at Lakewood University because when I came in with my master's degree, but I still felt the need to further my education. And at that time, the Lord was sending me to Texas on an assignment. And so I was trying to figure out how can I go to school and still be able to complete that assignment. So with Lakewood University, they gave me the opportunity to be mobile because I was taking my classes online. So I was able to do my assignment in Texas and then in the evenings do my homework. And so I was able to take the real estate class. I also took the entrepreneurship course. I took the ministry course. I also took the virtual assistant course. And the last class that I took was the professional coaching course. So all of those courses combined allowed me to be successful.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Wow. 5 programs, that's amazing. And I can see just from your story how each one relates to exactly what you're doing now. Wow, that's amazing. Where were you before starting your program with Lakewood, and where are you now?
So before I started with Lakewood University, I served 6.5 years in the United States Navy. I was medically retired out of the military. And so with me being medically retired out, I was diagnosed with a condition called scleroderma. It's an autoimmune disease and it just popped up randomly. No trace in my family or anything like that. And so I was forced out of the military and I had to make a decision, like kind of get it mentally, process it mentally that I was going to be leaving something that I wanted to do all of my life. I served 3 years in ROTC. I also did great and excelled in those areas while I was in the military. And so it was something that I could have done 20, 30 years. So having to leave was really, really sad. But after I left, I decided to go into the financial industry. After being in the financial industry, I knew that I needed to go back to school. So I decided to go back and further my education. I got a degree in business and then I got my bachelor's degree in financial planning. And I was the second in my family to get my bachelor's degree and the first in my family to get my master's degree in entrepreneurship and applied technologies. And so with getting that master's degree, I still didn't feel like I had everything and ready to really launch and have that confidence. I had some failed businesses before. And so again, I felt the need to go to Lakewood and I feel like Lakewood took me through that process that I needed from the beginning all the way to the end with creating that name for my business, doing the research and Also being able to have everything in line, knowing what the budget looks like, knowing what it looks like for revenue, what do I need so that if I sit in front of investors, that I will be able to give them a roadmap of what it is that I want to do and what does that look like on paper. So I think I had the ideas in head, but I needed to put it on paper so that I can execute and so that I can get the funding that I needed for the program. And so that's where I'm at right now. And I feel like I'm walking in purpose. Can we say that? I'm walking in purpose right now.
That is tremendous, Vonda. That is tremendous. Thank you so much. And thank you for your leadership, even in your family, being the first graduate. That's beyond words. And seeing how much you are applying what you actually learn. So, a lot of us learn information, but then we don't actually apply it. But you've been applying all of the knowledge that you have. So, thank you so much for sharing that. What challenges were you facing before Lakewood University?
One of the biggest challenges that I was facing before I actually stepped in was, I would say, one of the challenges is just believing in myself. Because some of the times you can get a lot of information when you go to school and you can see everybody else doing it and everybody else is seeing in that realm. And again, because I am the first to break a lot of generational curses, I had to know that I could do it for myself and that I can take an idea from my head, put it on paper, and actually move forward in it and see some type of success. And so I knew that, okay, I got a lot of creative ideas and I know that this can work, but I think that the challenge was me. I was in my way. And so I think a lot of times we have to get out of our way and we have to know that we can do it and have that confidence and move forward.
A lot of people call that imposter syndrome. And so I see that you don't even operate in that at all anymore. I can just tell by your story. How did your experience at Lakewood help you overcome some of those challenges?
I think my experience at Lakewood allowed me to overcome the challenges because of all the information. So it was a wealth of knowledge. And then also the feedback that was coming back from my professors, telling me that I was going in the right direction, that what I had on paper made sense. And then also me just being able to complete so many things. So not stopping, just being able to complete every assignment and get it done and stay focused and not being able to divert and taking the information that they did give me and applying it back to my life. I think it was that really helped me.
Thank you for that. I will definitely pass that along to the staff and the faculty. They will be so happy to see your face again.
I will add this as well. One of my
Sure.
professors, I'm also an author. I'm a new author. So I finished my book.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I finished my book, 31 Day Devotional, at the end of last year. I mean, with 1 day to spare. Okay. I kept saying I was going to write a book, and I literally had 1 day to spare. And so one of my professors, which was the minister one, she told me, she said, I think you should move forward with that book. And she had no clue that I was in the process of writing. And so it's just things like that is just a confirmation of what you need to be doing. And so again, I put the pen to the paper and I had the pen of a ready writer and I was able to complete. So I think my thing was to complete everything that I start and do it with excellency.
Oh, wow. And I definitely would like to get a copy of your book of Vonda. Hopefully, an autographed copy. Of course, I'll pay for it, but I would love to have a copy of your book. And I definitely will put that information for the staff and the faculty to see because we are always looking for more resources, not only for ourselves, but for our students as well. What surprised you most about the program?
I would say the curriculum is what really just stuck out to me because I've been in school for a while and it was the information. I can apply it quickly. So it wasn't confusing. It was not overwhelming, but it was something that I can do. The workload was in order and everything that was on the syllabus aligned with what I had to do. So I wasn't all over the place, especially if you're taking an online class. A lot of people are kind of nervous when it comes to taking online classes, but I didn't have to reach out to my professors every week because they kind of spelled out everything. And again, it flowed with what was on the syllabus. I was able to do the work. It wasn't overwhelming. I didn't feel like it was work that was just to work either. I'm just giving you something just to do. Everything was intentional. Everything was leading up to the end of the project, which is another thing that I love about the program. Every class that I took, even when it came to a project being done at the end, we were able to get the information and work on the information throughout the week. So at the end, all we had to do is turn in the project. So it wasn't something where you're getting all this work and then at the end you just get slammed with a project and you all over the place and don't know what to do and you just pulling things from everywhere. At the end, I felt relaxed and it was just, okay, professor can look through it, or if I have any questions, I can send in questions, and then I feel good enough with turning it in and not feeling like my grade is just going to drop tremendously. That's something that I love about the program. They knew that, hey, this project is coming up and I'm going to walk you through it step by step.
How has your life changed since completing your program at Lakewood University?
Again, I feel like I'm walking in purpose and I'm just where I needed to be at. I don't feel like, oh, okay, I need to go back to school. I just feel like that part of education is completed. And now I can go from being a consumer to a producer. Everything that I've learned, everything that I have taken in, now I can give it to the next generation. And I can help someone and tell them, don't make some of the mistakes that I've made and don't do some of the things that I've done. I feel like that. And I think that that's what every teacher would want their student to be. At some point, the student has to become a teacher. And I even feel like I'm in that place where now I can teach, I can train, and I can pour into others.
I'm getting emotional over here because this means more than you'll ever know when I
Mhm.
see, like you said, when you have a purpose and
Mhm.
you live your purpose, and then you see the fruition of
Yes.
what has happened from living your purpose instead of having imposter syndrome, right? Where do you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months?
That's a great question. I really want to see myself out on the streets helping as many people as I can. I want to be the solution. I think in the next 6 to 12 months, I want to be that solution to help many that are dealing with challenges be able to get food, feel love, and also come out of those places. I also see myself in the next 6 years in real estate, somewhere in real estate, to where I'm able to build and create generational wealth and leave a legacy. So I think in the next 6 years, I want to be in that place of being able to, again, help people, but also build for the next generations to come.
If someone's considering Lakewood University, what would you tell them?
Sign up today. Get on the phone. Make the phone call. I don't know what you're waiting for. I highly, highly recommend it. And also for all of my veterans that's out there, especially if you have not been in school for a while, I know how it feels when you transitioning, you coming out of the military. I haven't been a student for a while. Like when I first came out, I hadn't been in school in 7 years. And so it's kind of, I was very, very nervous with getting that schedule and the time management and just hearing those trigger words as test and quiz and all of those things. I think that if you sign up for this school, that a lot of that anxiety and a lot of that fear will go away, because again, everything is spelled out. You will have the help and the assistance that you need. And also, if you need to be online and you're not able to get to a school because you're disabled or anything like that, this is also an option. If you're also traveling back and forth and you need a place so that you can go to school and you can use your benefits, I think that Lakewood would be the best environment for you. And they definitely going to celebrate you and root you on and make sure that you hit the finish line. So I love that about this school. So I say, what are you doing? Why are you waiting? Sign up now today, okay? I wouldn't tell you anything wrong, because listen, I told you, I love to learn, but I've always had a struggle with just like homework and things like that. And again, I didn't have that problem with going into school. I was very successful. And again, the teachers are responsive. They reach back out to you very quickly. And so I say sign up. What you waiting for?
Speaking of the fact that you're a veteran, did you have any problems with Lakewood University processing your GI Bill benefits?
No, it actually was the quickest and easiest process I ever been through. I'm so serious because again, I feel like everything is ordained. And so I listen to Secrets to Success podcast all the time. And so prior to this, I wanted to go into the real estate course, and it was just something, you know how it just didn't connect at the time. And so again, when I came out and I got done with my master's degree, I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm riding in the car one day and I just get this download as reach out and find out what it takes to take this course. and I was connected to Lakewood. I reached out to the staff. They responded back to me quickly, and it was literally a phone call that said, "Let me see if you qualify." Got my information. I was qualified. Still had like 2 years left on my post 9/11, so that's why I was able to take so many courses, and everything worked out for me. It was the right timing. It was the right opportunity, and again, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. And even that day when I talked to the person that was on the phone, she was not supposed to work. I think she was leaving early that day. She stopped and did everything for me. I
Wow.
literally called on a Friday and I was accepted and ready to go on Monday. And so again, all of that fear, all of that anxiety of the next and what it was going to look like, me bouncing back and forth from Florida to Texas, all of that went away like that. And so I'm grateful. I would like to tell you that I am grateful for you taking the chance to step out, because here today it benefits me in so many ways to be able to accomplish what needed to be accomplished in the earth for such a time as this.
Boy, I want to say amen. Right now. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Man, I cannot wait for the staff to hear this. Any final thoughts you'd like to share with future students?
If I could share anything with you, I would just say get all that you can get. Any knowledge that's being released, get it and also use it and apply. You got great purpose on your life. You're not just going through these programs just to go through it. It is something that you can use, especially for those of you that's going into entrepreneur. You know exactly what you want to do. When you sign up for these courses, you know that you want to go into real estate. You know that you want to be that virtual assistant. You know that you're going into ministry. Get all that you need to get and learn and ask as many questions that you need to ask so that you can be successful and that you can get everything and be all that you are destined to be. And so I just say blessings to you. You will succeed and you will be great.
So, Vonda, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with your education now that you have graduated, as far as your ministry is concerned.
Yes, so right now I have a nonprofit organization. It was recently launched in the beginning of this year. I would say maybe around like June. Okay. Before that, we were already kind of in the process of training intercessors. And so people who pray, pretty much. We was training and equipping them on prayer line. And it's probably anywhere from like 11 to 15 people that consistently come on that prayer line and they're being trained and equipped. And so they told us to start going out and feeding the homeless every other month. So this is probably like our fifth time feeding the homeless, and each time we feed about 75 people. When we first started off, we would go to 3 different locations. We also partner with Chick-fil-A where we get boxes. So we have boxes that have a Chick-fil-A sandwich, cookie, and also chips, and then we give them water and juice. Probably I say like 400 or 500 people that we have fed so far. At this last location that we went to, Lord, it was 75 people that came. 75 people into one location, and it was just by word of mouth. Would get on their bicycles, they would go to the shelters and tell their friends, and people just kept coming. They did not stop. So we also began to just walk around the place and pray over it and just anoint it with oil. So the Lord is doing a mighty thing here in Tampa, Florida. Again, we have started here, but we're looking forward to also mobilizing to go to different places. We can train people to go out and evangelize, minister to people, not just feeding them, but being able to pray for them, to love on them, and know that we're feeding them the best. So not peanut butter jelly sandwiches, which I don't knock. The Lord gave me that to be able to give them something. And again, always eat everything and they're always looking for more. So nothing goes to waste. There's no spills. It's really easy so we can focus on the people, can focus on them and really get their prayer requests out. And this all type of prayer requests for homes, requests for parents, prayer requests for their children, requests to get off of drugs and alcohol. So not only is God having an impact on them, He's also impacted my family and my friends because it's drawing us closer together. We're all being able to work together on one accord. So love what God is doing, and again, how He's using me, be that pioneer, that trailblazer, and to be able to break generational curses and to come out of a place of poverty, move into a place of wealth. It's the beginning, something new. And he says, don't despise the day of small beginnings.
And does your family, are they involved at all in this process?
Yes, they're all. My mother is always on the prayer line, and again, my family are also on the prayer line, and they go out as well and volunteer when we go into the community because it's feed the homeless every other month on the first Saturday. So now that the holidays are coming up, we're actually going to do it in November and December. So they help that way, and then they also give. So they give to the organization as well.
Wow, that's tremendous. So it sounds like you're using your ministry program here. You're using your entrepreneurship program by creating these partnerships, and now you have your family as employees and friends as employees. You're using your virtual assistant to be able to manage all of these projects. You're using everything that you learned at Lakewood, and then now you're going to be actually acquiring real estate from the real estate program that you participated in as well.
Yes, I definitely want to get into real estate so that I'm able to have housing for them, that we can provide housing for them. And then also, a lot of people don't know, but it's a lot of prisoners have been released and they're free, but they don't have an address to actually come to. I'm looking forward to being able to work in that area to where we can have places where people who are free have addresses to be able to come to, be able to live to their time served.
Well, thank you so much for that, Vonda, and thank you for the work that you do. It's truly inspiring.